GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to Boliga, where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Oops.
And we're back. Rather abruptly.
Oops.
That was glorious.
It was glorious. Thanks again.
Hello,
to Jen.
Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Hello.
Welcome, and thank you once again for joining us and also kind of putting up with our top of the hour, I don't know, station identification bio break thing. Oh,
that
my
was
God.
great.
And usually at the top of the hour, this is when we give our thing total.
Yeah.
Okay, our total is...
The fanfare is hilarious.
Thank you, Steve. Our total is 654.43. As of right now, we have not received any new donations.
That's okay,
So-
but we want more.
Yes,
Yeah.
we need
It's
more.
time to start killing kittens.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
no killy kittens. No, it's not good. But Scott Pearson from Generation Geeks is with us. Hello, welcome. Also, wonderful editor and author.
I'm sorry, I've lost my volume. I can't hear anything.
Jesus.
Oh no.
Yes, he'll
Can
find
you hear us?
He's
Okay, I'm back.
there. He is. Okay.
All right, very
welcome
good.
back. So, welcome back to the show. And thank you for joining us so late at night. Although I really don't know where you're at, so I don't know how late it really is for you. But
It is 10 o'clock where I live.
okay.
Well,
So-
real quick before we move on, we need we're going to roll over the prize. So we're the Star Trek TOS wall calendar and daily calendar. We are going to add something to it. Let's see. We have the book set for the fall.
Yeah, let's do that.
Ooh.
So we have the entire series. We have I believe it's the 5-book series of Star Trek The Fall. So for whoever donates the most during this hour, not only gets that, but the previous hour's prizes, which were the 2 calendars. So there you go. That's what you get.
This is a huge prize.
It's actually very cool. It's really very nice. I was just happy that they had them all in stock.
Yeah, right?
Hey.
So tell us how Generations Geek is doing.
Yeah.
And who's
Well.
the kid?
The
The kid is getting... She's homecoming. When did she...
Yeah, when did she grow up, dude?
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's completely out of my control.
We can get
Sure.
Ron and Braga to help.
She's so tonight she's at a Halloween party, dressed
Nice.
as the Scarlet Witch,
Sweet.
Nice.
We got to get photos.
Cute.
and
Well, wait a
I
minute.
actually
Which Scarlet Witch? The movie or the comic?
movie.
Nice.
Okay.
And there
Pretty
actually
cool.
is, if you go on to my Facebook page, there's a picture there. I need to post it on the Generations Geek page as well. But
Nice.
so yeah, she had kind of forgotten about. She's got so
she
much
looks
stuff.
Great as Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and she
Awesome.
was, she was looking at some pictures online, and she threw that together in like 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
But
Right on.
she's at a Halloween party. She was working today, then a Halloween party, and then she's having some friends over tonight to watch movies. And so somewhere in there, she wants to try to sneak in and say hello, but I'm not quite sure when that'll be.
Cool. Well, we'd love to hear from her. It's been a very long time since we've had an opportunity to sit down and talk with you or her.
That's That's our schedule.
Yeah. Well, after you tried to kill you and her.
That was a speed bump, so to speak. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I'm very glad that you're all well.
And but having a teenager makes scheduling things like this almost impossible.
Yeah.
So we are we're having fun doing Generations Geek, but we're a couple of shows behind because we're just always struggling to make the time to record the show. But we're very much looking forward to our next show that we hope to be recording sometime in the next week or so. We're going to have Kirsten Beyer on to talk
beautiful.
Star Trek Voyager 20th anniversary and her novels and everything. It'll be great.
Sweet.
We got to tell Jara and Amy about that.
Yep, they'll love it. It's going to be very cool. Jara and Amy from Women at Warp. We adore them too. So
we're going to be speaking with her in a few hours, actually.
With Kirsten?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know. We're very excited. So, my dear, you have been a busy man. You've been editing some books.
I have.
Some very cool stuff, too.
Some very cool stuff. It's very weird to find myself in the know beforehand. You know, I copy edited Kirsten's The Next Voyager novel, so I've already read that. And
do you find yourself kind of tripped up, of kind of, oh man, I can't say that, or do you find yourself tripped up on that regard?
No, because I just avoid making any comments about them, other than the fact that I'm doing them.
Yeah.
I'll say something very teasing, like, "Oh my gosh, guys, this is going to blow your mind."
The kid's hair is not that long now, is it?
It is.
My God. I just put the picture in the chat room of her as Scarlet Witch.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to turn around. Oh, my goodness.
I know, right?
Oh.
She was trying to do a little hand gesture thing, like she was starting to, bring together some Scarlet Witch energy. and no matter how she tried, it just looked silly in the picture. Yeah. So we got rid of those photos. If I had a little bit more time, I could maybe try to do some photoshopping and put in some red light or something.
Fun. Yeah, that's great. So, what is? Other than, for those who may not have heard of Generations Geek, although we do get to talk to you every so often, it has been a while. What are some of the other topics that you guys have discussed over the past few months?
Our current show was on robots in movies and TV.
Oh, fun.
And it turned into one of our longest shows with just the two of us, because robots raise so many interesting ethical and philosophical questions.
Yes.
There's just the action-adventure kind of portion to a lot of robot movies, but then there's all those questions about artificial intelligence and what does that mean and will it happen? So we had lots of fun talking about films from Westworld to AI. And it was really interesting. I haven't watched Westworld in decades. Ella had never seen it before. And so it was really interesting to come back and discuss that. And she had never seen AI before, the Spielberg film. And
what was her thought on Westworld?
What was that?
Her thoughts on Westworld.
She liked it, but
it didn't age well.
It hasn't aged well.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that goes on in the movie. I
That's
didn't
true.
remember how slow it was.
Yeah.
But she still enjoyed it, but she recognized all the flaws, the thin plotting, and how they didn't really do much. And then it's got one of those just kind of hanging endings that was a little bit more popular in the films of that time period.
Right.
And so it also made for some really good compare and contrast discussion when we looked at something like Westworld and then compared it to something like AI. they're two wildly different films, but they do touch on some of the same themes and questions. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember watching Westworld the first time. It scared the snot out of me.
Me too.
Another good one would have been Robin Williams' Bicentennial Man.
Oh, yeah. It was very difficult to pare down to a manageable list of films because there are so many.
Right.
And so we ended up doing Westworld, AI. I hesitate only because I hate saying the title of the film because it's one of my favorite books that was totally ruined as a film, I, Robot.
Yeah.
Which I had never watched before because I knew that I wouldn't like it from the previews, and the kid had seen it, and she had enjoyed it. She hadn't read the source material, so she just enjoyed it as a popcorn kind of movie.
Right.
And wasn't distracted by all the problems. And then we also discussed some TV shows. And so that was fun as well.
Oh, cool. Like which ones? I mean, tell me you had to talk about Robbie. I mean, you had to...
We talked about the new show Humans.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Which, interestingly, William Hurt is in it, and he's practically playing the same character that he did in AI.
Huh.
And except older, and so that was kind of interesting that the characters were so similar. They're both characters who are important in the development of the technology of the robots, of the AI in the films or the show, and then they're both characters that have sort of replaced a missing son with a robot. And I was I couldn't believe it. I was so surprised that it was so similar. And then we talked about being human, almost human.
The Carl Urban, short-lived but very cool.
Yes,
I really enjoyed that one.
They really should have let that go for another season or so to see how it developed because there was lots of stuff going on there.
I think so too.
And it ended just as they were opening up this whole new layer to the world because then they only introduced that there's this sort of wall at the end of the season.
Right.
And you realize that the kind of idyllic city they live in, that maybe there's something much worse on the other side of this wall that had never really been brought up before. But then it was gone.
Which movie was that?
That was the television show, Almost Human.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering what I'm getting stuck on here.
Well, there's. Are we talking about humans or almost human? Because
it was both.
There's
both.
Okay. He started talking about humans, and then we switched.
So, did you guys discuss RoboCop at all?
We did not.
Well, cyborgs aren't exactly robots, but there is an AI element to RoboCop. Yes.
Yeah. What I tried to do, as just a way to help myself narrow it down, was I wanted to stick to humanoid robot AIs. And so that kind of eliminated RoboCop since there is the cyborg, sort of the human element there. It eliminated giant human-controlled robots like Pacific Rim.
Right.
And I just wanted to stick with those humanoid AIs that raise those philosophical questions about, and so of course
what are we going to do when we actually create an AI that really does arguably have those things that make us human?
Yeah. Well, and even
for some reason I want to watch Sleeper now.
Even as we approach that, it's just going to get more and more weird. A thing I did while we were recording the show was I grabbed my iPad and asked Siri, to do something for me, to tell me a joke or whatever.
Right.
And so even though at this point they're not like past the Turing test kind of AIs, but we have gotten to the point where there's things like Siri or that new Amazon thing, the name of which escapes me. And so we're already,
No, that's Microsoft.
Alexa.
Oh, that's the mic.
Alexa, yeah.
Yeah. So we're already at the point where we do have conversational interactions with these things, even though they're not, not conscious. But nevertheless,
I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Hasn't somebody invented a robot? And of course, the first thing you do, because we're pigs as a species, is they've made the realistic-looking robots that they're having sex with.
Yeah, there's some of those. But I was going to point out that Google, their AI, their search engine is capable of dreaming. So there is a bit of conscious or subconscious thought there. And I had seen another article that deals with AI technology, and emotionally, it's at about the same level as a 4-year-old now. So,
oh, that's right. It got snippy.
Yes,
I remember that. I remember reading about that. It got snippy with the programmer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it got pissed off when it was asked the same question over and over and over again.
And hung up.
So really, it's already the perfect wife.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that just kept us going and going and going and talking.
I bet
for a few hours.
It's so awesome that you can sit and talk for a few hours with your daughter about that.
No kidding.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
That's very cool. So,
Grim,
is Grimmy with us? Oh, that's sweet.
Grimmy has joined us.
Hi, Grimmy. When can people and where can people find Generations Geek and listen to?
They can find Generations Geek on the Chronic Rift Network.
Chronic.
Yay.
So if you look up Chronic Rift Network, then you'll find us amongst all their other fabulous shows by
They're so much fun.
Various people like Keith DeCandido and I can't even remember. There's over a dozen shows that are part of the network.
Very, very cool.
And if you go to the Generations Geek... Oh, I shouldn't say this.
Oh, then don't say it.
I was going to say, if you go to the Generations Geek website, you can find direct links to all the shows as well. But yes. I'm in the middle of switching to a new server.
New server, okay, yeah, we understand.
I don't know if those... I haven't checked today to see if the website is still up. For quite a while now, the websites have been still up and fully functional on the old server, and I noticed today that some elements of one of my websites is now not working. So I don't know if the Generations Geek website is working. But you have to do you have to go into your HTML and change links and all sorts of stuff to move it onto the new server. So I'm not entirely there yet.
Well, cool. We'll make sure that when we split this show up into many smaller shows and post them, we'll make sure that this segment gets the correct link and everything, and hopefully by that time it will be all ready to go.
Yeah. Well, it'll still be generationsgeek.com.
Great.
And eventually it'll be working.
So check back often.
Yeah.
So what else is going on, big man? We haven't talked in forever.
You can always just go to Chronic Rift Network, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
True.
Yeah.
Well, I did have a quick question. During the analysis of the humanoid robots and AI, did anyone bring up Small Wonder? Does anybody even remember?
Oh, God.
Holy crap. That's pulling one out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, yeah.
Well, why not just bring Far Out Space Nuts? Then.
The day the Earth stood still.
Oh.
Small
Wonder is one of the worst things ever. And ironically, had a longer run than Firefly.
Wow.
And...
Oh my God.
If that doesn't say anything about our society, I don't know what does.
I will say it was a syndicated show made on the extreme cheap, so...
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, it was
you
a
missed
really
nothing.
bad... Yeah, it was Was it? Would you even call it a sitcom? It was a sitcom.
No, because it had no calm in it.
Yeah.
It made Electra Woman and Dinah Girl look like the freaking Dark Knight, okay?
It was just a sit, not a com.
No, it looked like Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so bad, Scott. It was so bad.
Oh, now who did that?
Oh, I do remember that show.
See, Matthew Anderson's back. I should have known.
Wait, it's on like DVD or something, or is that VHS?
Oh, God.
People buy that crap?
No, I know. I have a friend that legitimately loved that show. Of course, he also legitimately loved fucking Dukes of Hazzard. So, you know.
Another one making Manimal look like Franz Kafka.
Making fucking Hasselhoff look like Olivier.
Hey,
Yes,
don't badmouth Roscoe Pico Train.
In the Hoff.
We're in the 11th and a half hour. 11 and a half hour. Can you tell?
Yeah, we're getting a little.
Hell yeah.
We're getting a little punchy. No.
By the way, I have the bow tie untied.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Good for you.
Yeah, you're Alan.
The boots are off. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, the
Time for
boots
another
went off a
martini.
long time ago.
All right, Mike, you know what?
Yes.
What?
What?
Jen, Killivan is Klingon in Rihansu.
I don't know what he's saying. I'm sorry, Scott.
I was
I
talking
lost
to
track.
the
I don't know
Klingon
what's
pop
going on.
princess.
Oh, okay.
Now, just a quick side note, Squirrel or whatever. Where did that come from? Because I know there's people that use Romulan, and is that from a certain? I know it's from the novels. Is it from one novel? Is it a series of novels?
From the Rihansu
Rihansu
series.
series.
There's actually several different references, both Riansu and beyond, and it's actually spelled a lot more complicated than that.
Well, there's several spellings because there's the formal, there's the kind of the not what's it called, the not cursing, but the where you're mocking them.
Yeah, but that's essentially a version of Klingon in Romulan language.
Well,
Hold on, let me pull up my Klingon English. I mean, my English Romulan dictionary.
Well, that's the word for Klingon in that Romulan language. I got that, but I was just curious because I know that there's a lot of people that are wanting to expand on the different languages. Like even the Ferengi in that episode, Little Green Men. There's a lot of dialogue, with Ferengi subtitles, and I think they kind of just ran the English backwards, like backmasking or whatever.
See, there you go. I just put it in the chat room.
Thank
See,
you.
like Klingham is the formal and the colloquial, and then you've got the formal, colloquial, and then you've got the derogatory, and then you've got the colloquial. Yeah, so you've got all the different stuff there. And who is that photo? What is that above what I just put in?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Matt Anderson will have to give us.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
But she must be a cyborg of some form or some kind of a.
It looks like
See what you
the
started,
person-
Scott?
I'm sorry, what was that?
See?
Oh, when a Klingon speaker says that the Romulan language is far too complicated, because like Spanish has different versions, the formal and the informal and all of that.
That reminds me, like, I haven't done as much, obviously, with as Klingon, but I did start dabbling with Elvish, with the difference between the Kenya and Sindarin, and there's like, if it's for a friend or a familiar versus a formal, like, there's a lot of variation on some languages.
I love it.
That image,
I love
Nick,
nerds.
is for Man and Machine. It's a show from the 90s.
Wow, I don't remember
Never
that
even
one.
heard of it.
I do not remember that one. Man and Machine?
Wait, is that the actress that played Witchblade?
I thought she was one of the backup singers for
Robert Palmer?
Robert Palmer.
Yes, Robert Palmer.
Simply irresistible.
See, in the chat room now, I just put the Rihansu words for human.
So why don't we ask our guest this question?
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
It'd be very nice.
I don't know what
So
we're going
I
to
guess
do.
I will ask him a question, and that's going to be, what recent book has been published that you can talk about, were you most recently involved with?
Let's see. as far as a writer or an editor,
Either.
Oh, for God's
Either?
sake.
I have a new short story called On My Side that is out in an anthology called A Quiet Shelter There from Hadley Rill Books. The anthology was edited by Jerry Lean, who you may remember from some Strange New World stories.
Yes.
And
Bye, Robert.
Goodbye.
He's talking to the chat room.
So the theme of the anthology was service animals, but with a speculative fiction twist. And a fairly large percent of the profits of the book are going to be going to an animal shelter.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And let's see if I can remember what I'll have to try to figure.
All right, here's an easier one for you. What is your current required appointment viewing?
Yeah. What do you go home and watch and you can't miss?
Let's see. I'm actually right now I'm binging on a series that I hadn't started watching before. I've been binging on Elementary.
Oh.
I like that.
You know, my parents love that show.
And
they say it's outstanding.
I am loving it. When I watched the fourth season is just starting now. I'm just getting into the third season in my binge. When I watched the pilot episode, I thought it was pretty bad. And then I watched the second episode and thought it was kind of meh. And so I never went back to it. But then I was hearing various people say good things about it. Like Alan Gibson, for example, was mentioning that he was very much enjoying the show. So I got curious about it, went back, watched the third episode.
Say Allen Ginsberg.
That's different.
Yeah.
Watched the third episode, watched the fourth episode, and by then I was hooked, and I've been watching a few episodes every night.
Oh, very cool.
Right on.
I've been like that with The Returned.
Well, Elementary, it's kind of like a police procedural with a Sherlock Holmes type of theme, or the character is Holmes, but it's a modern version of the character, I think.
Yeah, I've really been liking
and it's
some
Lucy
of the stuff
Liu,
they've been
correct?
doing.
Is the Watson?
Yes, as Watson, and
yes.
It really, it's probably about the most feminist show on television. It's really astonishing to me what Lucy Liu was given with Watson is an amazing character who's had a really strong character arc, and they haven't done any annoying hints of romance.
No moonlighting.
No moonlighting.
Good.
And it's like, how many shows does that happen on?
Yeah,
not many.
That the female lead is allowed to be a strong character on her own without becoming the love interest.
Right.
She does.
Hold on, that's
if I remember. I was going to say,
Mike.
I do remember that. If I remember correctly, she does end up with her own love interest, but
not with the other lead.
But not with
Exactly.
the other lead. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, seriously, that's a good thing to delve into because at this point we're tracked out.
But you know what though? That's the way the character was too, even at its core. Watson marries somebody else. So
I'm seriously trying to think of a show that lasted. Well, wait a minute. On Law and Order SVU, Stabler and what's her name?
I see what you're saying.
Never.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Did they ever?
No,
because
I don't
he
think
was
so.
married, and then so I think people thought that they were, but they weren't. It was nothing more than they loved each other, but in the partner brother sister way.
Yeah.
That's one of the few shows that jumps out at me.
Because it's really easy to do.
Easy.
And over the course of 7 or 8 years of a procedural show, not unlike Castle, right?
Yeah.
But that kind of started off that way to begin with.
Yeah.
The only reason why he really wanted to take that job was because he wanted her.
Well, look at X-Files. That one went a really long time before they started. I think they went like 8 seasons before they really started developing a
Caving
personal.
to fan pressure?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I hate it when they cave to fan pressure on that.
I do too.
Yeah.
You know what? Leave the shippers something to write about.
Well, and the thing, it can be done well, and with something like the X-Files, both those characters were very well drawn and strong and independent, and so it doesn't seem, in that case, it didn't seem to diminish
Right.
either character
But
when they started.
And with them,
The show ran
because
off
of
the rails.
everything they had gone through,
But-
Yeah.
and because of everything the characters had gone through, they were the only two people who would understand the other one at that point.
Yeah.
It ruined moonlighting.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
didn't it ever?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's, yeah.
Moonlighting was great the first season.
It's a very difficult. It's such a balancing act, so it's like, what are your options? You establish a relationship as flirtatious, and then what are you going to do? Are you going to keep it stuck in this flirtatious mode forever? That can get a bit wearying.
Well, Star Trek had a good example.
Or are you going to have them?
and Janeway.
Yeah. Then are you going to have them finally do the deed, or are you going to have them break up? Various shows have struggled with this transition. Cheers comes to mind, and it's so many shows ruin it once they try to move into a
And I hated Diane anyway. and when they did that, it really made it bad. Kirstie Alley was such a breath of fresh air for that show.
She was.
Now,
Graham points out that SG-1 was a good example of how tension you can have tension without ever reaching a relationship. And the characters of Jack and Sam, there was definitely some chemistry there, but they never acted upon it because of their specific roles in the show.
And it's become so trope at this point to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
I
almost
agree there.
brave to not do it.
Yeah.
Well, I agree.
Now, Scott, did you watch Supergirl?
Yes.
And your
And?
thoughts?
I really liked it.
Thank you. Yes.
Yay. Oh, that's good to hear.
I am so geek crushing on her.
Well, geek crushing on a person and set aside.
No, because she inhabits who Supergirl is.
Okay, cool.
That's why, because she is Kara. She really brought Kara to life.
Yeah, and I love that they are really embracing elements of the comic book world.
Yeah.
That DC has. They've gone such a different way in their films.
We were talking about that earlier. How
So
she
dark,
wants
so
to be a
bleak.
hero.
Yeah.
And to just go in the complete opposite direction with this and go for that emotionalism and joy and wonder and
It was
kind
refreshing.
Yeah. I was a sucker for it. I was really loving it, and
which is what they did with Flash, and there's an element of whimsy.
Mm-hmm. And
I was going to say DC doesn't mind doing it with their shows, but it seems like they can't get that into their heads.
I told you, that's
for
Warner
the
Brothers.
films.
That's Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Well,
and
but
I
even
think
Arrow can get kind of darker, so it was nice contrast with Arrow and Flash, and now to see that again with the Supergirl.
Yeah.
Well, and Arrow, I think Flash was done deliberately to balance off with all the crossovers they've done, because the first time the Arrow team and Team Flash teamed up, the difference in them was so stark, and it was just so funny to watch, like, Cisco with his goofiness playing off against, Dig and his seriousness, and it made a fun pairing.
And I think Arrow has lightened up quite a bit since
This
Flash.
season has been much lighter.
Yeah.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, yeah, I'm totally behind. I don't think I've seen any Arrow yet this season. I did watch the first episode of Flash.
With Jay Garrick?
What?
With Jay Garrick, the original Flash.
Oh.
Yeah, that was really good when he was in it.
Yeah. But
No,
if he had called Barry Kidd one more time, I was going to punch him. It was pissing me off.
I do like the way it's now Green Arrow. That's good.
Yeah,
finally.
he calls himself Green Arrow now.
Yeah.
but they Scott, they did they did one of the scenes was they recreated the famous cover of the two flashes on either side of the wall.
Oh, great.
They did that. Like, Matthew Anderson, if you can find that to put in the chat room, somebody yelled help. And Grimm says he stopped watching Arrow because it was crushing it because it was so dark each week. The Raja Ghul storyline was so dark. And there's still some dark in this, like with what's going on with Sarah. But they have lightened it up in some other ways, which is a lot of fun. Like the Mr. Terrific kid, who's the black kid who's working with Felicity right now, who's going to be Mr. Terrific.
Right on.
I got to get caught up on that. I'm so far behind. I'm behind on Gotham. I'm behind on Flash. I'm behind.
Talk about dark Gotham.
Oh my gosh, Gotham. I watched the first. How many episodes have there been this season? I've
4 or 5?
4 or 5. I think I've seen 2 or 3, and they are just batshit crazy. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Scott, there it is in the chat room.
Yep. There. What is
the cover side by side with the scene from the show?
Oh, I don't have the.
He doesn't have the chat room open.
I don't have it open, so I don't see.
Here, I'll share the link in our TeamSpeak studio.
But
very cool. Yeah.
So it's Gotham. I've been loving Gotham, and I understand a lot of people don't like it because it's a prequel, because it doesn't have a lot of the since there is no Batman in it, since there that's a problem for a lot of people. But I'm finding it really interesting.
And all the people that complain about that at first, I always said, just look at it as an alternate, just as its own universe. You know what I mean?
DC prides itself on its multi-universe.
Well, in the Flash, there's 52. There's 52 universes, which was a nice nod to the new 52.
Right.
And now Gotham is just another universe for DC to play with.
Yeah. And it's allowing them to add to the overall Batman mythos. Which, people that are complaining, that's not really, do you want them to bring back the aliens like in the 50s that Batman used to have to fight, and all of that? No. That's like the people that were bitching about the picture, and I put it on Facebook, of Jared Leto in the full Joker outfit. I love it. I love this Joker version with the tattoos and the metal teeth, and it's a 21st version of the Joker. The important thing is that they're true to the core of the character. He still has the green hair, he still has the makeup and all of that. He's almost like a Killing Joke, punk of today. And by the way, did you see that they're making the Killing Joke into a R-rated cartoon animated version?
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Where are they going to show this?
DVD. It's going to be direct, like the others.
Wow.
Yeah, they're doing the Killing Joke as it was in the graphic novel.
Holy
wow.
Crap. That's messed up.
That's gutsy.
That's messed up.
No, because it's one of their most famous and popular stories.
Well, that's true, but still, that's intense.
I'll
pretty
pull
amazing.
It up.
You what?
I'm going to pull it up. It's coming out in 2016.
Wow. I'm shocked by that.
Well, this was announced a while ago.
Was it really? God, I missed it. Didn't know.
There you go.
Oh.
Chat room.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wow.
Well, you mentioned the picture of Joker, the full costume, and I saw people, of course, saying they loved it. Others were like saying that's not my Joker, blah blah stuff. And I saw the similar, like, not from consensus overall, but I saw some people giving a backlash about the new Harley Quinn from the movie, and like even calling her like hooker cheerleader. And it's like, I just thought that's going like I don't know if they're expecting like the jester hat with the little bells at the end. Like some people just get stuck on a version of a character, and that's the only one they want to see. Whereas I thought, the new Harley Quinn, his new Joker. I think. And
look at how she is in the comic, in her own comic book now. It's not that far removed from what she's been in her own title.
Well, and one of my favorite recent versions was, different jumping mediums. But in the Arkham series, I really liked the Harley Quinn and most of the characters in the Arkham series. And it's just a whole different take on it, but it's still like DC people involved in the creation and the writing. And I think there's room for multiple variations or versions of the characters, even aside from going alternate dimension, or even Marvel has their Earth like 616 versus the others. But just whether it's a video game or a comic or different even different comics, there's room for different variations.
Yeah, why do the same thing over and over? Why not mix it up?
Remember, people loved The Dark Knight when Alan Moore put it out, but yet there was a whole contingent of people that said, this is way too dark. Now, what do people think of when they think of Batman? The Dark Knight.
Yep.
That's wild. So wild.
And, it's kind of like...
Pardon me.
All right. Kind of like, how people didn't accept the Star Wars holiday special. I myself think, what? No? Can't? No?
No.
Wasn't that the very first on-screen appearance? Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Fan favorite.
I still can't get over the singing that went on in that.
I don't think any of us can.
It made Cop Rock look like a fucking spectacular piece of work.
Like La Traviata?
Yeah. I love it when she clashes the joint up. Uh-oh, Andrew Wonder says Frank Miller is an asshole. Yeah, he's only brilliant.
Well.
So
what do you think about this new Superman Batman? The new look of Batman. I heard that the director and all them were really big fans of the Frank Miller series of Batman, and that's kind of why they're taking that look for the movie. I think it looks great.
I think Ben Affleck looks amazing, and I like that they've kept with like this the anti-Superman suit that he's wearing with the kryptonite in it.
Wow. So, this is the movie they put off for a year, right?
You are so hung up on shit. Christ.
I just, me, I'm always suspicious. I'm always suspicious, and I'm like, okay, you can blame it on, we have a shit year, and we're just gonna have a whole shit year, and we're gonna just take our lumps this year and hope for a better year next year, so we're going to put it in next year's annual revenue. And I'm thinking, if I were a shareholder, I'd be up your ass going, try to make me as much money now.
I still think they're doing it because they're going to have that and Suicide Squad in the same year, so they can have the two in 1 year like Marvel's doing, rather than split it.
I'm me, I'm always a little bit more suspect about stuff like that. I've heard, I know what happens sometimes.
But you're not suspect that Star Trek got pushed back?
By 2 weeks as opposed to a year?
Still pushed back?
Yeah, and I did, I did pick it up, and I thought to myself, are you really, what did I say? Are they really that afraid of, what movie were they afraid of?
Tarzan.
Yeah, I don't think they're afraid of Tarzan. What? I really don't. I don't think they're afraid of Tarzan.
No, it was Life of Pets. It was Life of Pets.
That's what it was. They were afraid of a children's film.
And they blamed it on Tarzan taking all the IMAX.
IMAX. They said, we couldn't get into any IMAX theaters, and I'm thinking, what? Well, if that's really the case, and you had to push back by 2 weeks to get IMAX theaters, somebody didn't do their homework. I'm just saying that, somebody
should be out of a job. Yeah. Because it's not like they didn't know this movie was going to be made.
Thank you very much. And announced the release date long before it started filming. So, yeah. I'm just, But a pushback by a year, I don't know. I'm just hoping that there's really nothing all that wrong where they have to do a lot of recuts or retakes and change the script because they got I don't know. We'll see. I know that they put it in front of their viewing committee, and it was immediately after that it got pushed back by a year. And the viewing committee said, "Oh, it's so great, we're going to push it back by a year." I'm like, okay, whatever.
Hold on a minute, Terry.
Okay. What's he doing?
I'm scared to
Are we all just waiting for him to do something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm reading a
Nick's
Forbes
dramatic
article
pause.
about why it was delayed.
I thought he was speaking in tongues there, like what was
Yeah.
that? What was that TV preacher, Robert Tilton, or something like that?
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, gee, I
Oh
know
my
that
God.
dude too. Good Lord.
Was he speaking Romulan again?
Yes.
Mama say mama sa mama usa. Mama say mama sa mama usa. What was that, Nick? I don't know, man. Come on.
He's speaking Michael Jackson.
I know.
It's an article in Forbes about it, why it was delayed
Right.
or pushed back.
Right.
He says, how did it? Saturday 2016. Touchdown is a 10-month delay. Hold on.
We're all waiting.
Well, while we're all waiting, how
The
you guys
biggest
been?
the biggest film of all time in August is The Sixth Sense in 1999. After that, it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The biggest opening weekend for August is Bourne Ultimatum with 69 million, which is about what The Dark Knight made on its first day. There have been exactly 4 movies that have opened in August that have made over 400 million. Open in August would mean Man of Steel 2, Justice League Unlimited. Man of Steel 2, Justice League Unusual. So far in this article, he's called it Man of Steel 2, Justice League Inhibited, and now Justice League Unusual. Would basically have to break any and all box office records to achieve what would be desirable 750 million to 1 billion result. Marvel may be willing to risk it, but their non-essential wildcard property Guardians of the Galaxy this August, but no way Warner Brothers will risk such a result with their crown jewel icons. So Man of
They're
Steel
afraid
2,
of
Justice
August.
Justice League Unusual, people will probably come, right? Justice League Unusual. The biggest blockbuster to come out of September, October was actually Gravity, really, which despite all the buzz and accolades earned 677 million worldwide. That's terrific for Gravity, which was an original property and cost 100 million. But what about Man of Steel? Pulled in 668.
And what's so funny is that they're looking at somehow $668 million return on a movie is bad.
I know, right?
I'm gobsmacked by that.
Yeah. My lord.
I'm going to plug Generations Geek here since you brought up Gravity.
Sure.
One of the shows we did back when Gravity came out is we had on an actual space shuttle astronaut to talk about Gravity, and so we could talk about what they got right and what they got wrong
How
about
fun!
the science and the actual.
Mike, they got an astronaut.
I tried to get an astronaut.
But all he could get was a spaced out dude from the corner of Hollywood and Vine.
We got the dude.
Nice.
And all he kept saying was, I abide.
One of our upcoming shows, we don't know when yet because he's kind of busy. We're going to have Andy Weir, author of the original novel The Martian.
Oh, very cool.
We had him on the show when the book first came out, just as it was starting to take off. At that point, it had been optioned, but for the film, but there were no names attached to it yet, at least not publicly. So Matt Damon and Ridley Scott, that hadn't come up yet. So at the time, since it had been optioned, we said, well, after the movie comes out, because we're sure this will be made into a movie, because it's going to make a great movie, will you come back on the show? And he said yes. And so sometime over the next month or so, after things slow down a little bit for him, we're going to have him back on the show and talk about what it was like going from nowhere to gargantuan movie on his first book.
Wow.
Oh, Terry, something we forgot. Ben Affleck was injured on the set, on the filming, and that was another reason why it was pushed back.
Oh, yeah.
The film was in the can.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it totally was.
No, it wasn't.
It totally was.
He was injured on the set, but it was in the can. No.
We need the Vulcan fighting music right now.
They pushed the movie back 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, before it was due to be released. We were seeing trailers for the movie in the movie theater going in a couple of weeks, blah, blah, blah. It was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Wonder Woman. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, what happened to it? It just disappeared. We're like, oh, they got pushed back a year. It was done. it was done. I don't know.
So when is it coming out now?
June of next year, I think. July of
No.
next year?
July 17. No. Yeah, July 17, 20. No, hold on. May 6, 2016.
Okay, so they're coming out before Star Trek.
Yes.
Okay.
But head to head with a Marvel movie, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Which is going to hurt them.
Jespa is chomping at the bit for Nano, so
we do get to move along. Did we have any donations this hour, my dear?
We've had 2, and the big one was for 50 smackers.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Steve.
Where's this?
There we go.
Oh, my theme music. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Paul.
People of Florida.
And just when you thought it was done.
And after that fanfare, I can say the Royals won this game.
Our total is now $724.43.
Nice.
The person who will receive the Star Trek TOS calendar, the Star Trek daily calendar, and the set of Star Trek The Fall novels is the lovely Jen Ucelis.
Nice.
Yay!
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
And
thank
Terry,
you for
did you hear?
donating the CD.
And I want to thank Grimm for his donation.
Thank you, Grimmy.
Oh, thank you, Grimmy.
Thanks, Grim.
Hey, guys, I don't have any money, but I will give like sexual favors, for surprises.
There's not enough money in the world.
Nick,
We
I
want
am
to
very
entice
talented.
people tonight.
Oh, wow,
Terry.
really? Thank you.
Terry,
Yes. Yes. What?
it is now Kansas City Royals 3, Mets 1 in the series.
Wow.
Yeah, surpriser.
Wow.
Oh, the Mets are losing. Boo-hoo.
I know, right? Oh, it's the Queens or the people of the Queen's side.
Oh, I know. Keep talking about how Brooklyn and the Bronx are a sucky baseball team.
But
Look at you guys.
But, Marv, I think you and I have to agree 3 of the greatest words ever uttered are because of the Mets.
Yes, sir.
Behind
I
the
agree.
And here comes night! Game 6, 86, one of the greatest days ever in American history. As the entire Red Sox nation went to the bridge and jumped.
You do realize I'm a Red Sox fan.
I so know
I'm
it.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But you know what?
No, but see,
okay, hold
you
on.
admit you're
hold
wrong,
on,
you can
hold on,
change.
Janet. Then
What?
you're one of those people that blame Bill Buckner and made death threats when there was a whole Game 7 that the whole team blew.
No. I always felt badly for him.
Oh, beautiful music. Wow.
Well, we're at the top of the hour. We need to thank Scott for
Well,
joining
Scott's
us.
welcome to stay for the next.
And you're welcome to stay and hang out
Thanks,
with us. We are going to be talking. And,
I think I'm going to say goodbye at least for a while.
okay. Well, we'll be here if you need
And
us.
if the
I
kid
might
is
go-
home on time and doesn't break her curfew,
You're welcome to come back.
Join us.
I might. Well, when she gets back home, she'll have a bunch of
She'll be
her friends
hungover?
with her. So,
Yeah.
so I don't know if she'll.
Yeah.
Well, the
have
other
them come
thing,
in too. We'll be loopy by that point.
if I can, let's see.
Cool.
The
Don't do it.
problem is
Don't do it.
Don't
Drunk
do it.
adults and kids. Child services will be calling you in 10 minutes. Don't do
No,
it.
I've always
probably
been nothing
right.
but nice. I love the kid. No, don't even. I love the kid. Scott, if I never everything, nothing but good to her. Am I correct?
And
and you've played Cards Against Humanity with her.
Yes, and let me
Wow.
tell you all something.
right.
She's
Whoa.
more twisted than any of us. Okay.
Okay.
and that's why we love her. Well, again, thanks, Scott, from Generations Geek. We will make sure that the links get in our show notes for when
Yes.
we do split up the
Oh,
show.
thank
And
you.
Again, thank you
very
so
much.
very
Thank you,
much for
Scott.
joining us.
Scott.
Thank you.
And
See ya.
congrats again on the books that are coming out and all
Thanks.
of your editing work, too.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Bye.
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 Time
Top
to
of the hour.
restart.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go make some coffee.
recordings.
All right.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5 Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Rathor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. no cons or Kobe.